Hi, Jean-Claude.
Hi, Michael.
It's good to be together, and you have just celebrated 30 years
Yes.
of being in these patterns that look like acts. So I'm compelled to ask you, 30 years, a long time to be in these patterns of acts. So
Yes.
tell us in a story form and tell us about those. Why you've been in these patterns for 30 years. Why were you initially convinced? Why did you continue on the way? Tell us about these last 30 years.
So where should I start? Just to say that France is a small country, very small country, with a very small organization, small churches. And so when I came to Christ in 1977, I said I need to do some things to change the things. I didn't know about how I will do or whatever.
Okay.
But I said I want to be somebody who can entrust and put and do some things. But so I said, okay, first I want to be a pastor. I want to pastor a church. And then I start to be a pastor, and after a certain time, I was thinking of just being a pastor in a small church and be influent in my town and things. Then in 1992, a gang from Iowa came to Anthony, the town where I was living, or not far from where I was living.
Okay. Someone came from Iowa.
Iowa.
Okay.
Again, they have a band.
Okay.
From Iowa, from Build organization, came in Anthony and expressed or introduced us to the new way or a change or non-formal Christian education.
So someone came from the team to introduce non-formal Christian education, a new way.
New way to teach people.
A new way to teach people.
And France is really, I had hard time to be introduced as a pastor because I was teaching on a TE program, Theological Education by Extension.
Theological Education by Extension.
And so they didn't like this. So it took me a long time to be accepted, a long time. Somebody have to fight for me to be there. So I said, that's something's interesting. So in 1993, in May 1993, I came for the first time to be exposed there in Ames, Iowa.
Okay.
And I came with the leader of the theological education. And I saw the church, I saw the people. And I said, there is something there that we are missing.
Oh.
Something, it was not just the people talking about, but when I came there, I saw the reality of
What did you see?
I saw people, loving people and ready to go further than what they are, going out of where they were. You understand?
Going out of where they were.
Out in terms of, okay, we are the church, but we want you to be part of the church, and we want to share with you what we have. So it was not just teaching us from the pulpit and saying, you have to do this and this and this, and it will work.
And that was compelling to you?
Yeah, I said, because in France, people are going to church and that's it. But they don't want to share many things, so they are more Sunday people.
Sunday people, okay.
So they are not influencing people. So I came back and I said to the organization I work with, I said, hey, I saw something that we probably need to pursue. And so they asked me to go and pursue the discussion. So I came there for years to understand. Then after that, we were introduced to the resources. So the ACT courses.
The ACTS courses,
and, so we start to teach it, and we have the Pauline epistle, and we have the sound doctrine.
Okay, so in 1993, you are exposed to it. You see something that's that's a way of life, something that looks like
it was not just
it wasn't just here. It was a way of living. It was a way of thinking about the church. It was a way of being the church.
Yes, being the church. Yeah.
And then as those years went on, you then were exposed to some of the resources that built upon those convictions.
Yes.
Okay. So keep us going. What happened then?
So people get interested, and teaching it, using the resources. I get exposed to something different, and so I said, that's interesting. And so there is a committee. So the ETA was created, and I get part of the office or whatever. And so I was asked to continue the discussion with Jeff, or at least to come in Iowa. And after that, we were exposed to the first principle. And the first series, second series, and we said, that's completely different. That's what we teach. Because it's not just, it's teaching the Bible, helping people to think biblically. And that's not what we get. And so it was a change of paradigm of teaching it.
It was a change of paradigm of teaching it. In what way?
Because in a sense, you are not teaching it. You are helping people to get what they see and express it and change and have discussion with them and apply it. Because so they don't have the habit, or they normally didn't talk about how to apply the things they learn. You can learn a lot of things, but never apply it. So it's like going to school and learn things and say, I won't use it.
Yeah. Okay. So at what point are you in the story then? In 1993, you come, you start getting exposed. You see it's a new way of life. An organization is formed. A team is formed. You're committed to the research. You didn't even know English, as I understand, right?
No,
when you first came.
In fact, that was interesting because I married an American lady.
Oh.
And so, but she learned French with me. I didn't learn English with her.
Okay.
Then I became a pastor, and my assistant was American. And he started to teach me English a little bit.
Okay.
Then the guy who was leading all these things in France was American. And so he came for 2 or 3 years in Ames with me. So, but I was not talking or listening too much because he was leading the discussion for France and everything. Then suddenly he disappeared. And one time we went in Denver, Colorado, and the guy was not there. And Jeff said, or the leader said, Jean-Claude, you have to expose what you are doing in France. And I said, in English? He said, yes. So
you were forced to learn English because...
So I learned English. And more I developed my English. Oh, God help me with this. Yeah. So I'm not still talking good English, but at least I can express myself.
So tell us about the last 10 years, or tell us about why you are. Yeah, tell us about the last 10 years. What has happened in the last 10 years that's really encouraged you from the first 20 years of a foundation that's really been built in these patterns? But why are you encouraged in the last 10 years? What are some key impact stories that have happened that you've seen God really at work?
In fact, after all these things, all this time and translating all the resources, we were deeply rooted in paradigm. We realized what paradigm is. It's not just a question of teaching people, but helping them to think biblically and to become a church, active church, and influencing people. And more and more, I was more able to express this in French or in French people and French civilization. And so we organized a few years ago, 6 or 7 years ago, a meeting on a boat on the Seine River and in Paris. And I bring 40 people, 40 pastors to this. And I expose this, and some people were really interested to start these things. And one guy was really touched by this, and he's from Africa, French-speaking Africa. And so he asked me to come to his home and to be introduced to a really key leader from his country.
Okay.
So I came and I thought I have the afternoon to talk with him, but he said, "You have 5 minutes to convince me, sir."
Yeah.
I said, 5 minutes?
5 minutes to convince him of a whole set of patterns?
To introduce all these things. And I said,
how did you do it?
5 minutes. So I tried to introduce all these things. In 5 minutes, I talk about having discussion, apply evangelism, to do the things, to express the things. And the guy said, "Oh, that's interesting. So you should come in Africa." And I thought, oh, this guy, he just said this for... Then I received a call a week later, and he said, "Are you ready to come in Africa? Because we already have 100 people ready to listen to this." And so I came in Africa with another friends of mine who is from Africa also. And we were introduced to a big organization of 2,000 and some more churches. And we have now 38 or 40, 50 churches using the resources and starting to establish all these things. So the 5 minutes has changed his life. And I don't know how God let me do it, but 5 minutes is not too long to express.
Wow. And that is a pattern of Acts, because the principles and the patterns from Christ's plan for the church to go to the ends of the earth, it's scalable. It's repeatable. We don't need elaborate systems. We don't need elaborate structures. We don't need, we need a conviction in our hearts. One last question. What about the days ahead? You've got some people that were maybe born in the 70s when you came to Christ, right? You have some people that were born in the 80s, some people born in the 90s and 2000s that are beginning to come around these ideas. So give us your thoughts for why you're encouraged about the future.
In fact, we were able to reach young people, young pastors. And so 2 young pastors, so they are next generation, they come from the formal education, but they grasp the paradigm, and they are well known in France now. Everywhere I'm going, we are talking about this one and about this one, and so they are carrying the paradigm. And so there is more young. We teach seven pastors for 2 months about this new paradigm, and they are ready to carry it also. So the next generation is there. So they will develop I think for the 30 years in France, we set all the foundation of all these. So we were introduced to the formal education. I was introduced in theological education at the high level. At the small level, I was introduced in biblical institute. Everywhere, so I was able, and everywhere I'm carrying the ITEA. Every time people know me in France, it's ITEA. They don't know me about the vice president of this or this or this. This guy is ITEA. And so the 2 new guys are doing the same thing. And every time I talk, I say, we will talk with Philip, and we'll talk with this one and this one. So they are ready to spread these things. And it's just, I'm very happy because my hair show where I am, the color of them. So the next gen is there, and they have all the tools, and they know more tools that I have, technology and everything. And so I'm very happy because they are ready to, and one is there for the conference.
Yeah.
So it's, I'm very, very encouraged. It's not, I at least like Paul, I said, I finished the race. I don't know when, but at least I was focusing for one thing, and the thing is there. So the next gen is ready to spread up.
Well, you have an amazing story, Jean-Claude. It's an honor to be part of to gather with you in this whole global movement. You've got 30 years of working out these patterns in your own situation and in your own field of influence, which has grown to, you're doing a lot of work all across Europe with us, across some of the French-speaking African countries. And you've been part of when you come to the conference for the last 30 years, you've been staying with the same family.
Yes.
And so we truly are a global movement family together. So
amen.
look forward to the years ahead with you.
It's a big honor for us and for me.
Yeah. Amen.